You know, we never did talk about what this app was going to look like. We should remedy that. Welcome back to Getting to Green. My name is Kevin. And yeah, we've never actually spent any time in the browser, really. We never decided what this app was going to look like, how it was going to feel, what we're using it really for. I mean, everybody builds a to-do app, right? But I wanted mine to be a little bit different, but we kind of never jumped into really what we're building. So I want to explain what my idea was. Now, I used to have this old, like an everyday carry, kind of a booklet. It was a small little field guide kind of a deal. And it had these little circles, right? And inside was a smaller dot. And if you make it, if you fill in the dot, it was kind of like you're making a bullet, right? You're just making a note. It wasn't anything. But if you just put a ring around it, that made it a task, right? So a circle meant it was a task. And the interesting thing was then that task had a few other states, right? An empty task, it was a new task. You haven't done anything yet. Then if you put like a single slash in it, that means it was in progress. And then if you put a second slash in it, you get a nice little X. It means it's done, right? And then I would have my notes underneath it, maybe subtasks, right? So sometimes the larger task was this overarching thing that you were working on, more like a project almost, and then there were subtasks underneath it. So let's go jump over to Figma, and I'm going to show you what it is we're trying to build. So here's Figma, and here's our little task icon. It's beautiful. It's the best icon you've ever seen, right? But the cool thing is we have a couple of different states here. So this would be a brand new task, and if you put a single line through it, that would be in progress. So you get a slash. Now we know that we're at least started working on this. Maybe depending on how far we are, whatever, right? And then you could also finish the task by getting an X, and you just know that it's done. So this is perfect. This is where we want to be. However, we also want the ability to mark things as important. So to mark it as important, we just made it bolder, right? So now it's bold. This is important, right? And the same thing with the lines. They're a little bit darker, more emboldened. This screams importance, right? So that's what I want to work on. So let's see what it would look like more in the actual context of things. So here's what I want to build. We have our title. We have our little icon that we worked on. We have a little carrot that's going to be able to hide the stuff underneath it. And we have our notes. We have our little subtasks. Our subtasks and subnotes might also have notes. This is how I did it in my little field guide. So I just wanted to kind of do that here and allow for this. And you have these little 3 dots on the side, these vertical ellipses, which when you click it, you can either edit it or delete it. I'm not sure if that's the way we want to go yet, but this is just a quick sketch of what I want. Maybe we can inline with the chevron over here. But I also want to make note that we can have subnotes, and subnotes could also have notes, right? So this is what I want. This is what we're building. So let's go jump over to VS Code and see if we can get this working. Now I believe if I go to layers, components here, this is that icon, and we can export this as an SVG. I think I already did. So let's go jump over to VS Code and we'll work on this together. All right, so let's actually start coding this thing up. So I got my project in front of me, got a brand new branch and everything. So let's actually get to coding. Let's do, first thing we need to do is we need to grab that SVG file, which I downloaded from our Figma file. So if I go to my downloads, this, pop this open. This is our SVG. I'm going to copy this. I want to create a new component, and this is going to be a to-do icon, right? To do icon.view. So view 3 template, and in here, boom. So a couple of things is the stroke width. We're going to want to have a computed property for that. So computed. So we're going to have const, we'll say stroke width equals computed, and that's a function. And what we want to do is check our props. So return props.isImportant and be a ternary, and we're going to say if it is important, we want a width of 4, otherwise a width of 2. We also need those props. So const props equals, we're going to do this in the TypeScript way. So we're going to do define props, and you do it like this. Bop, bop, bop. Nope, nope, not that. Doop, and bop. All right, so this is, we're defining it here, and we want a few things. So is important is just going to be a Boolean. And the next thing you want is, geez. The next thing that we want is to have the state. So status, I think we went with status. Oh, we didn't go with anything because we didn't do anything yet, right? So the status, and this is going to be, we're going to want either new or in progress or complete. And real quick, this probably should get pulled out, so why don't we do that now? So we're going to do a const, or we're going to say type, I'm going to say status, or to do status. That's going to equal exactly this. And then we could say here our status is to do status. So that's pretty cool. And the reason we want to do this is because we want to create a new type. So we have this types folder here. So we go in here, we could create a new one. We'll just say to do dot lowercase to do dot t dot ts. No, d dot ts for definitions, right? To do definitions. So we could go back over here, delete that, save back here. Whoop, do that. And we want to export this. Export type to do status. Save this, go back to here. And if I just delete the S and put it back in, no, didn't want to do it. No. To do status, no, didn't want to figure it out. So we want to import type to do status from, let's see, is it going to do that? I don't think we ever set that up. We might want to do that this lesson as well. But we could do dot dot types slash to do. Save that, and suddenly we have our to do status again. If we hover over it, it's going to give us new, in progress, and complete. Wonderful. So we have that. So this stroke width we're going to want to change for here. So what we'll do is all of these are the 2. So we're going to do this, make it stroke width equals our stroke width. And just change all of those for us. Bada boom. If I save this, it's going to put it on different lines, but that's fine. So that's pretty cool. And the next thing I want to do is create the actual to do item. Right? So create a new file. To do.view. And actually, let's do this. Let's view 3, save this for now, but I also want to have a new one called to do title. There's going to be a few different things in the title that we want to really understand is going on, so let's make it its own thing. So again, view 3 template, and we want to have flex. That should be fine for now. And then I want my task icon which we have to import task icon from task icon.view. Said that weird? I know. It's okay. We'll say is important equals false. This is because we want the actual value of false. And the status will be new. And do that. That's just for now, just to set it up. And then we want the title. So we're going to have maybe an H1. Yeah, for now, let's have an H1. And we'll do, say, props.title equal props.title, right? So go to that, have our props up here also, const props equals define props. So open, close that, and title is a string. And that should be everything. We'll also want the actual icon itself. So maybe we bring in just the whole task, or do we want to have everything here too, like the is important, which should be a Boolean, and then the status, which would be our task status. Was it state? No, status. And we have to import that as well. So import task status from, and that was from types and to do. And let's see, no member. So what did I name that? That was to do status. What did I say? Task. To do. I think between recording, I wound up naming it a task for some reason. And now it's stuck in my brain. To do. And to do icon. There we go. So now we go back to the to do. And we'll have our to do title. And boom. Oh, you know what we could do? Maybe we'll do that. Const prop. We don't need props here. We'll need to import our to do title from to do title, and we'll need to bring in. Actually, we'll need props. Props. Const props equals, and we'll need our to do, right? So that is going to be define props and open, open, close, close, close. We'll need our to do, and we're just going to say object for now. So there is a specific way I want to have that, but I'm not sure if I set that up in the home. We did not. So cool. Go back here, create a new type. Export. We'll do an interface instead, only because it's more like an object. It doesn't really matter, supposedly, is what I've seen on the internet. It doesn't matter if you use type or interface, it's just more of a convention. So like a type is just going to be, for me and this project, is going to be like when you have like a string here. Whereas an interface is going to be more like an object idea. So our interface is going to equal, we'll say we need an ID, which would be a string. We're going to need a title, which will also be a string. Oh, interface to do. Yeah. We need a status, which is going to be our to-do status. We need a created at, which would be a date. A updated at should be also a date, and a completed at should also be a date. Which we might not need anymore. Not sure. We'll keep this as is for now. Go back to our to-do. Let's just bring this to do. There we go. That's finally importing some stuff for us. Has no exported member to do title. Oh, because save that. Go back to do. It's not this. It just really is that. Okay. So this is pretty cool because now this will tell us what it's missing. So it needs all those things. That's why TypeScript's cool, right? It's like, oh, we're missing some stuff. What is it? So is important. We'll say is important is going to be our props dot to do dot is important. And let's go back to this. So we'll have a is important. And real quick, we have these with underscores. So maybe it makes more sense to have this as well. Is underscore is important. Boolean. Save that. Every time I record a video, I get this. There's a knot in my throat. Speak fine the rest of the day, and suddenly recording. It's anyways. Go back to do. So we have our important. Oh, that's actually. Let's go back to home. Where was I? To do icon. To do. Yeah. Is important. There you go. So you saw that it kind of said that this doesn't exist. It'll say that is important does not exist on type to do. Do you mean is important? Yeah, I do actually, which is pretty dope. So we have that. We need a title still, and we're going to pass that through with. Again, we could also maybe have it as a. We can do it here. So I'm not sure how we want to do that yet, but we'll leave it as is for now. Maybe down the road we turn it into a slot. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, how it feels. So we got our title. So we need props dot to do dot title. See, nice auto completion there. And finally the status, right? Status equals props dot to do dot status. And because we don't have a slot, we can do that. That's pretty nice so far. Let's see how this is looking so far. So do yarn dev. All right. For that to work, perfect. And let's go to do.test. Bring that over here. Okay, so now we just have to actually import this. So we have all of our to-dos here. Let's import our to-do from there. And these are our to-dos. It's not going to be this anymore. So we'll do a div here. And our, V for to-do in our to-do store.todos. And we can have a key here like we did before. Actually, let's just copy all of this. Put that right here. Save that so far. And I don't like that. Let's do this. And within here, we'll have our actual to-do stuff. So I'm going to delete all this. And this will be our to-do. And within that, we have our to-do, which is equal to to-do. To-do, to-do, to-do. Let's see how that looks. Let's jump back over to here. Look at that. That's pretty cool so far. Our title, our icon. It's a little funky, obviously, but it's doing its thing. So let's change a few things here. So let's go to, let's change the title. We want this to be flex. We can actually do that in here. I'm gonna delete, turn that off. Let's try this out. So inspect this guy, and we'll have our flex. Maybe we want a class of row. It's a T row. Oh, you know what? Did I do that? Let's see. Tailwind. I don't have a Tailwind config. Did I bring Tailwind in yet? I don't think I did. Let's cancel this. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. That didn't look right at all. So yarn add, we're going to need a few things here, right? Do we need a few things? Let's actually go over to Tailwind. See what they require. So Tailwind CSS. Let's get started. So using post CSS. So post CSS is what we want to use, is because that's how we're dealing with that within Vite and Laravel. So that's why I thought there was a few things, because we do need a few things. We want all this. We want the npm. Delete this. Paste that in. And have that install. Give that a minute. Looks like it's done. Nice. All right, so that is cool. So now we have to actually set that up. So if we go back to here, we need npx Tailwind CSS and init, which I can just copy that. I don't know why I read it. Paste that in, enter, and it's going to do that. So we have our CSS config set up, which is pretty cool. Look at that. And I think within our CSS up here, we have to add some stuff like this. So post CSS we need to set up as well. Do we have, did that go in here? Do we have a post CSS? No. Right? No. So that's a Laravel thing. Let's see if Laravel has that set up. Laravel/docs. Tailwind. Let's see. Database pagination. Nah, that's pagination. Packages. Maybe it's mix. JS post CSS has that stuff. Vite. Oh, they have the Vite. They got the Vite. Let's see, Vite. There we go. Asset, inertia, view. Oh, that's with JavaScript. Tailwind. What did I just do? I clicked on something. Go back. Tailwind. All right, working with style sheets. Vite documentation. You may need to create a post CSS config. So let's go do that. Pop, pop, pop. Get that back up. Not in config. Just wanted that in the top layer. There you go. And then back over here. This post CSS. There you go. And then Vite. All right, so that's all right. So we have that. That's that post CSS stuff there. And look at this. So content. Let's do that. Let's go back to. Nope, wrong one. You. Tailwind config content. Right. Is that supposed to be in the... Yeah. It's supposed to be this. Yeah. We're using TS. Okay. This is what I was on. So this then goes into our CSS up here. Save that. And yeah, let's try this again. Yarn dev. Let's see if that worked. There we go. All right, yeah, I just forgot to save my post CSS. So the post CSS was the last missing piece of that. So let's close a bunch of those. Open that up as we go again. Let's look at this. So yeah, this is how I knew it wasn't working, but you can see all looking pretty good now. Let's go back to our icon. Task icon. Task icon. Should be to-do icon. To-do icon. I don't know where task icon. All right. So then, so we have a couple of paths, right? So this is our slash, and then we have our other slash. So we want this one to have a class. So first we're gonna say class equals visible. And we're only going to say it's visible if it has a class of, or if in progress or completed dot includes our props.status. Okay? So only if it's within the prop status of in progress or completed. So we go back to here, refresh. Those should not be shown. Oh, because they're not hidden yet. So let's give this a class. We'll say class of progress line. And let's go create that class down here. We'll say style. We don't care about the lang. And we'll use, we'll say that, back down to here, dot progress line. And we're going to say, this is why we were doing this, because I was going to do some animations, but we're just going to say hidden. Display none. Right. So if we come back up to here, now it's it's gone. But if we give it right here, where's the it's an SVG, has that progress line. But if we show visible, or we show maybe block or one of those, but essentially it would be display none, and it'd be coming back. But I want to do something cool here, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, and I kind of had this animation where it kind of draws in. So what we want to do is I'm going to show you on here. I'm going to take away this display none thing on here. So we'll have it say we want a dash array, and we want it to, let's see, 2. So that's, you can see that it's getting like this dash array, and if we keep going, eventually it would draw all the way across. So 42 looks like the magic number. You know, you can get all the way down, but 42 or 43 looks like it would be perfect. We can go a little further. It looks like we can go as far as we want. It gets cut off, which is nice. So go here, we'll say 42, right? So then we can do a stroke dash array offset. Let's see, offset. Yeah, dash offset. And if we do this also as 42, look, it's gone, right? So this is interesting. Right? So we can bring it back down to 0 and it'll be visible. But if it's at 42, that means it's invisible. So we can have it drawn on there. So let's have those go. And I'm going to copy something over here. So we also add this transition, and I made this Bezier cubic Bezier in a different program, which is online. You can find it, and it kind of helped me make this little thing. So what I want to do is I want to use some CSS variables, right? So root. All right, future Kevin here. I did a big old screwy, and I pressed the button and started just recording my face, and nobody wants to see that the entire video, especially me while editing. So I deleted the entire end of this video. So now we're going to kind of dive back into this. We're kind of reset here. So this is, I believe, where we currently are together. So let's fix some of the issues here. So if we go back into our to-do icon rather, we have icon. So we were kind of handling this stroke dash array and dash offset, right? So if we go back to here, I'm going to click it. You can see how they kind of zoom in. They're kind of like being drawn in, which is really nice. And they undraw when you change that. So this is all from this dash array. So we're setting that line length to 42 because that was what we decided was the correct length for this. And the offset is the same thing. So when you offset it by a certain amount, it's pretty much gone. And then you have, when you set it back to 0, that's how it kind of comes back in and draws the rest of the way. The transition you don't have to worry about. You can use ease here if you wanted. This is just a slightly nicer, kind of slowly in and then all the way. You can search online for that. So this is how that's working. That's through here. So we're attaching that visible class, which is progressLine.visible. We're only adding that if it's complete here or in progress and complete on this one. We also, I want to note, we changed the SVG. We just kind of moved the starting points for where it was. So it draws in from the top. Sorry about that. So, so we have it go 1 and then 2. Really nice. So how do we do this? Well, let's jump back into to do title. So we're adding a click event here, and this click event is going to come from the store here. And I think this was me testing, so I think actually pretty good time to try this out. We'll do update status. Pulling that in. Let's see if that actually still works. Pop. Yes, it does. So this update status, so clear this out. If we go into our to-do store, we created this here. So our update status is a function that takes an ID. We're going to find the correct to-do that we're trying to update through this find. So our to-dos value find. So to-dos is our array, and it's a ref, so you need value. We grab that and we save it to a constant, and then we don't need this anymore either. We're just going to say if it's new, if the status is new, we go to in progress. If it's in progress, we go to complete. If it's complete, we go to new. Very simple, very easy to do. So that's how that works now. And remember, you have to return this. So it's returned and all working. So it doesn't matter which one we click, we get those updates. The next thing, I want to make this look a little bit prettier. I want the ability to update the text. So let's go back to do title. I want to, instead of having this as an H1, let's have it as an input. Input, and we're going to have it type equals text and that, and we're going to v-bind this, so v-model. And we're going to say the props dot title, right? That's what we have, title. You don't really want to do this to a props, but we're going to try it here and see what we can do with it later on down the road. let's also add some classes. Class equals text 3XL. I want this to be big, and I want it to be bold. Text, no, font bold. Font bold. Go back here, nice and big. Click on it, we get an input. You can actually change it, off click, and it changes. Pretty dope. I think when it has a blur event, we'll have it send an update to the backend, but that's something we're not going to worry about right now. This just works as is, just for our purposes so far. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let's, I think also the title, I want to have an underline. So we have a border, border, bottom. We'll make it 2, and we'll make it the border black. Save that, and that creates a border the whole way, but you see it goes the whole way. It doesn't really care about anything. So if we go back to the home page, we'll have this wrapping div. We'll give it a class of container. And you know what? Actually, no, we won't do it on the home page. We're going to put this on our app view. So in our router view, you know what? Let's do it around the entire thing. Div.container. Expand that. And div. Save. If we come back here. All right, we have somewhat of a container. We want M auto. Save. That'll just center everything up for us. Now we have this really cool. Now this might not be what we want actually, because maybe we just want this stuff to be within. Maybe we change it up to where we want stuff to break out of the container, but I think we're safe right now. So again, that's just putting this in the container where the navigation is its own little thing. So if we wanted the navigation to be in something, we don't need hello world. We could do .container .m-auto again, and do that. So then you can have like a background on this. B background gray 100, right? So you can have our stuff up there. Container, actually, dot background gray 100, and this, right? And then we want this to be in there, and we'll get rid of this. Save that. And that'll be nicer, maybe 200. Oh, I did GB. Background gray. So that'll be our navigation. So nice little navigation up in the top. We could do space X2, it doesn't matter. So save that. Now we have our home about, right? Nice little navigation up in the top. And our stuff down here is looking pretty good so far. Let's add a little bit more styling to this, or a title. Actually, our whole to-do, let's wrap this in a div. We'll give this P4, maybe dot rounded, and maybe a shadow. Do this. Emmett is acting up. Go here, so now we have these wrapped in their own little kind of cool guy thing. I don't know if we like it. Kind of don't, but it's just to prove some stuff here. So, and here's our to-dos. Let's wrap this in another one. So we'll give this a class of space Y. Give it 4. Tab. Yeah, Emmett does not want to play today. And we'll just save that. That gives us some space in between. And all right, so that's pretty cool right now. What else do we want? It's really it. Maybe this can have some space too. So let's go to our to-do title. We'll say the icon. We'll give it a class and say PR4. Yeah, there we go. Nice little space. This still works. I think we could even give it a cursor pointer. Do we need that? Maybe. Yeah. See that we can click on that. Cool. This, we could do this. Oh, you know what? We have this cutoff here. We're going to add, we'll do our input. I'm going to do the ellipsis. Text ellipsis. So if we take a look now, we get those dots if it goes over. And you can always, right, you can check out what it is. You can scroll around. But I also want this to be as, as wide as it can be. So flex. Do I need flex? Can it be with 100 or flex full? Fill? Let's see. No. Let's inspect this. Maybe what we could do is we'll do width 100%. Which one did I do that on? This one. Input. Yeah, see, that one's filling up the whole shoe-dootery. Still get the ellipsis. So we could do full or might be a flex full. No. Width full. There we go. There we go. So that's going to be the full width of that. We do want our icon at the end. We can make a little spot here for that. We'll say, you know what? We'll go to Heroicons, and we'll just grab a chevron. We'll grab this down one. We'll copy the SVG. Put that here. Save. And if we go back to here, yeah, there's our icon, which is nice. This takes up the whole width. There's a little space there. Instead of giving this a PR, why don't we just say on here, space Y4. That would give us space on all of our sides, right? No, it's supposed to be X. There we go. And yeah, we'll make it everything aligned center too. Align center. Align item center. Is it item center? I think it's item center. Back here. There we go. So there's our icon. We get some space. It's looking pretty nice. And that's going to be it for us today. I think we're happy with this. And all right, so that's pretty much it for kind of the front end stuff. There's going to be a few things that we want to finish up on here, such as actually, storing the status. We also want to update the importance, and we want to have that drop down work. And there's going to be a few little things that we need to finish. So, hey, if you liked this one, if it was entertaining, or just thought it was cool looking, or you're happy to give the thumbs up, the YouTube stuff. You got to give thumbs ups and thumbs downs and all that crap. Subscribe. That would be a nice one if you subscribed. Wouldn't mind that. A thumbs up, though. Thumbs up would be hugely appreciated. Anyway, that's it for today. And hopefully it doesn't take me another week to put up a video. We'll see what happens. In that case, cheers.